Hello, hello. Good afternoon. It is Saturday, July 25th, 2019 or 2020. My goodness. I should just start over. You are here with me on YouTube for a little bit of an easygoing stream. Today, I am glad to bring this video to you because I have exciting information. It's brought to you by BioTrust. Awesome. So important to keep your body healthy and youthful all the time. Collagen could be the closest thing we'll ever get to a real fountain of youth, while also forming a wall of defense between your immune system and the rest of your body. 75 to 90% of your skin, bones, joints, and tendons are made of this age-defying nutrient, and the older you are, the more likely it's caught your attention, and for good reason. You are probably noticing brittle nails, weak hair. Even for you guys, it is definitely a difference in your skin, etc. Hi guys, so cool to see you here today. Hello, Sherry. I have been using this. It is absolutely fantastic. I notice a difference. I just wouldn't recommend it if I wasn't noticing a difference. And I just got a whole bunch more today, actually. And I opened up the box and I was like, ooh, it's good stuff. So make sure you guys go to healthwithbeans.com. Secure your supply of the best collagen on the market. Link is in the description box as soon as the video is finished. Healthwithbeans.com. And off we go. I have an exciting announcement to make. I've been waiting to tell you guys for several weeks, but we were just finishing up details. I'm so excited to let everybody know that now on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, you'll be able to hear me on radio. I have my own show coming out. It's Uncover DC with Tracy Beans. It will be on WSMN 1590 and 95.3 FM in New Hampshire. Right up there in the Northeast. So again, that'll be, you can listen to it live on the player. And I will tweet that out every day and share it with you guys. But it's WSMN 1590 AM 95.3 FM in New Hampshire. It covers Nashua, some of southern Maine. And I'm going to be sharing information that you guys have been hearing from Uncover DC and me for years, and I get to do it on the radio now, and I'm super excited about that. So it'll be cool to talk to everybody for another hour every week. So that would mean Monday through Friday, there will be at least an hour of content and news and investigative work coming out of the Tracy Beans operation. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, the podcast Dark to Light will be from 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's released on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, TuneIn, Stitcher. You can get it on the website if you want to listen on your computer. And that's again Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, Dark to Light with Frank and Beans at 2:30 Eastern Time. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern on WSMN 1590 95.3 FM. Or you can go right here to WSMN.live and click on the live button and you can hear me Monday through Friday if you want. So that's exciting. Thank you to everybody out there for this, because it wouldn't be possible without you, and that is the God's honest truth. I'm going to talk about the New York Times article and give you some actual meat to chew on today. But I wanted to talk to all of you because I've had a really awesome week or two. And I know next week there's going to be some stuff happening that's going to be a little tumultuous, but it's all worth it. It really is all worth it because it's been a crazy ride over the past 5 years or so doing this. And it's what I'm here to do. I think that I was born to do what I'm doing right now. And I did a thread just coincidentally on my birthday explaining how important all of you guys are to that equation. I've been kind of kicking myself lately because I feel like, I'm constantly trying to piece things together, figure things, obviously you guys know that I like to churn out information all the time, and trying to build Uncover DC, and it's been wildly successful, and I'm so pleased with how things are going, and we're just going to keep getting better. But it takes a lot of time, and I'm trying to juggle everything. I wouldn't want to be in any other place than I am right now. And I seriously get choked up about it. And it sounds stupid and crazy, but I really think that we have the opportunity to reshape the way the media is handled in this country and around the world. And if I said that this was something I was doing by myself, it would be ridiculously short-sighted of me. And I feel like I walk right alongside every one of you guys every single day. I'm like literally just like you. And I just happen to have a really big mouth. So here I am. But we're doing all this together. Like, if you guys didn't give a crap about this stuff, you wouldn't be here listening to me. And I'm honored that you even give a crap, to be fair. And I try my best. I really do. Do I make mistakes? Yeah, I do make mistakes. But I'm super excited about where we're headed and everything that's happening. And I will be damned if anybody stops me from doing what I love to save this country. There's way too much at stake here. Way too much. And so we keep going. We keep going. So thank you. It sounds so stupid and cliche when people say this, but I mean it. Like, I seriously mean it. I thank you guys so much for sticking it out with me for so long. And my channel doesn't grow very quickly, and I don't have 500,000 subs, and I'm going over government documents and reading through lawsuits and, you know, doing minutia stuff and getting really in the weeds with analysis. And you guys sit here and listen to it. And I'm not like all those other channels here on YouTube that kind of do more sensationalized stuff or, you know, have amazing visuals. It's usually just my monitor screen and me. And so I'm not real high on the production value, which is noted. But you guys are still here, and that means a lot. It really does. So that's that. Let's go over this article. New York Times came out with an article just yesterday where they talked about the outing, in quotes, of this primary subsource for the Steele dossier. And what's really interesting about it is that it was, quote, outed by folks on Twitter, in our little Twitter circle, who do amazing good work. On the right on Twitter, we have a ton of super sleuths that do absolutely fantastic work. And they're the ones that figured this out. So they started piecing things together. And I talked about it on the podcast this week that one of the sources for the primary subsource for the Steele dossier actually worked with Gubarev, who is suing Christopher Steele right now in a UK court. And the UK court system is super interesting the way they do it. I read through that entire lawsuit, found some interesting stuff, still working on a piece for that. It's a timeline. You know, David Kramer's involved, the State Department's super involved, Fiona Hill and Victoria Nuland, a blast from the past. And there's a lot of stuff going on in regards to the State Department, not only the Kathleen Kavalek revelation that John Solomon dropped. So Kathleen Kavalek said there is no embassy or consulate in Miami. Like, she was calling Christopher Steele out on his BS, but Jonathan Weiner and even Strobe Talbot gets involved. I mean, it gets really crazy. The State Department, again, Fiona Hill is tied to impeachment, etc., so on and so forth. So this is a big deal, the State Department being involved. We should definitely keep an eye on that, because these are where the unelected bureaucrats all reside. These are where the career people who direct what goes on in this country, the Vindmans of the world, the Chiarmellas of the world, are there. So, anyway, the New York Times did a piece excoriating Bill Barr, Attorney General, for releasing this document, which was the accounting of the primary subsource, to the public. Heavily redacted. These guys just put two and two together. So the New York Times writes a head piece. Shem, our good friend Shemmy on Twitter, 9 paragraphs into this New York Times article identifying the primary subsource for the Steele dossier, they finally mention how his identity further discredits the dossier. This is after they spent 8 paragraphs on attacking President Trump, Barr, Lindsey Graham, and others. So this guy, Danchenko, who is the primary subsource, this is the guy who gave Steele all the information, supposedly, that he used to write the dossier, that none of it panned out, and he denies giving Steele half this information. This guy is like a financial, Steven, thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Whew. Okay. This guy is like a financial guru. Like he's like he worked for the Brookings Institute. He's like one of those, one of those people that writes policy papers and hobobs around with like all the institutes and the foundations of the world. Like he's one of those guys. Like what Papadopoulos wanted to be, basically. So the New York Times comes out with this whole big piece. The FBI pledged to keep a source anonymous, and Trump allies aided his unmasking. Oh, boy. Stephen, that was a very, very generous donation. Thank you so much. I don't even know what to say to that. That's as usual. Thank you, Steve. After a Russia expert who had collected research on Donald Trump for a disputed dossier agreed to tell the FBI what he knew about it, law enforcement officials declassified a roadmap to identify him. The Justice Department has said that Attorney General William P. Barr determined that declassifying a report about an FBI interview was in the public interest. And it was. Again, the entire dossier blown to smithereens, completely shot to smithereens. Not long after the early 2017 publication of a notorious dossier about President Trump jolted Washington, an expert in Russian politics told the FBI he'd been one of its key sources, drawing on his contacts to deliver information that would make up some of the most salacious and unproven assertions in the document. Oh, goodness. The FBI approached the expert, a man named Igor Danchenko, as it vetted the dossier's claims. He agreed to tell investigators what he knew with an important condition. People familiar with the matter said. Who people? I love that. People familiar with his thinking say he thinks this. I mean, give me a break. That the FBI keep his identity secret so he could protect himself, his sources, and his family and friends in Russia. But the hope of remaining anonymous evaporated last week. This is so ridiculous. After Attorney General William P. Barr directed the FBI to declassify a redacted report about its 3-day interview of Mr. Danchenko in 2017 and hand it over to Senator Lindsey Graham, Republican of South Carolina and chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee. Mr. Graham promptly made the interview summary public while calling the entire Russia investigation corrupt. Sounds pretty true to me. The report blacked out Mr. Danchenko's name and other identifying information. Really? But within 2 days, a post on a newly created blog entitled, "I found the primary subsource," identified him, citing clues left visible in the FBI document. A pseudonymous Twitter account created in May then promoted the existence of the blog. And the next day, RT, the Kremlin-owned English language news and propaganda outlet, published an article amplifying Mr. Danchenko's identification. So, here's the blog. Look, open source reporting is super powerful. And the New York Times stalks our Twitter accounts. Stalks them. Just waiting for something that they can use. I'm telling you, you have no idea. They stalk like little fiends in the night. I have reporters that are writing pieces on me right now, stalking my Twitter as we speak. Hello, guys. I know you're listening. It's good to see you today. Bring it. Anyway, so he figured it out based on being able to kind of like stuff in words and know how many characters. They're brilliant people, brilliant, that figured this out. The report blackened out his information, but they found it anyway. And then the Kremlin amplified it because Russia. The decision by the Justice Department and FBI leaders to divulge such a report was highly unusual and created the risk it would help to identify a person who had confidentially provided information to agents, even if officials didn't intend to provide such a roadmap. So, as per the journalists at the New York Times, Information being released is bad. That's what the journalists, in quotes, at the New York Times think. If the government releases information and is transparent about things, that's bad now. Only their people familiar with the matter can be trusted. That's the way it works. Just understand. Former law enforcement officials say the outing will make it harder for FBI agents to gain the trust of people they need to cooperate in future and unrelated investigations. I think the FBI has done a fine job of that on its own. How many of you in the audience trust the FBI right now? Under Christopher, hands up, everybody. If you trust the FBI, give me a 1. Anybody? A number 1 if you trust the FBI. Number 2 if you distrust the FBI. Give me a number 2 if you would go in, or give me a number 1 if you would go in and speak to the FBI about anything voluntarily at this point. I bet I get none. There may be 1 or 2 trolls out there that say 1. That's exactly what I thought. Thank you guys so much. Ben, Phil, Mike, Skitch, all of you guys, thumbs down. Number 2, all the 2s in the world from Dave Britton. This is what I'm saying. Emma Romo, thank you. Victor says 10, whatever that means. Binks, purple. I love it. It's great. So you guys are on the same page with me. I mean, this article is just ridiculous. So the lawyer for Danchenko, and now they're trying to figure out who is paying for this lawyer, Mark Schammel, very high-priced lawyer, says that because his client's name had already been exposed, he would not ask the New York Times to withhold it. Well, gee, the New York Times will gladly withhold the name of the man who is supposedly behind every lie in the Steele dossier that they held up on their shoulders for 2 full years. But they'll dox people who make memes about CNN. They'll dox everyday Americans who make funny memes. Explain it to me. I can't. His identity is noteworthy, Danchenko's is, because it further calls into question the credibility of the dossier. In paragraph 9, they excoriate the Justice Department for releasing a document, and then in paragraph 9, they say what the actual document does. So Shem goes on. Fool Nelson, who is a great Twitter researcher, here, great work on this timeline, is cited inside of this article because he found a source that Danchenko used, because Danchenko was not a very good spy. He literally tweeted about what he was doing as he was doing it, shared stuff on Instagram. I mean, really. So I want to show you this thread because it was interesting and I commented on it at the time. Olga Galkina is a Facebook friend of Danchenko. And she was responsible for the Cohen in Prague debacle. She was a Clinton supporter. She worked for Servers, which is owned by Gubarev, who was named in the dossier. So it's a little difficult to follow. But there were lies about Gubarev in the dossier. And his press person was a source for the dossier. That's interesting. So that was the Webzilla deal. This thread will be linked in the description box below so that you guys can go through it. So I shared some information underneath here. It's probably hiding somewhere. I shared some extra information. I retweeted this with some extra information. But this is how it works, people. This is why we are going to accomplish great things together. Because when I'm busy running, doing stuff for Uncover DC, getting short, editing pieces, getting contributing author, whatever, Fool Nelson is doing this research, and then I read it triggers me to remember something that I've read before. This is how it works. And they can't stop that ever. It just won't. So that's the thing. Just understand. So this was a super interesting connection. And again, I'm following that court case in the UK where Gubarev is again suing Steele. And this piece, let me show you. Hold on. I talked about this before, but I'll show it to you again. We have a really good search feature on the website. I'm logged in still. I don't want to be logged in. Hold on. Bad. Hey, it's live, people. What do you want from me? Here. This piece that I did here about Perkins Coie and what Steele said in a different... Here it is. Here. I have a video about it too, but this is the article. I'm going to read this again. In a UK court paper, Steele firm Orbis claims Perkins Coie engaged Fusion GPS, that's Glenn Simpson's company, to provide information on Russian interference in order to challenge the 2016 election results. Elias, in recently declassified testimony by the DNI, obfuscates the reason for hiring Fusion GPS, but doesn't slam the door on early discussions of Russian interference. Elias met with Steele, Simpson, and others in late September, early October of 2016 to discuss work completed for Fusion GPS, and admits he was aware of leaks of the dossier to press and allowed those leaks to occur. Orbis is asked in this court case why Perkins Coie needed the information in the memo about Alpha Bank. Alpha Bank is the company suing. The response is alarming. Orbis answers, this is Christopher Steele's firm, Fusion's immediate client was law firm Perkins Coie. It engaged Fusion to obtain information necessary for Perkins Coie to provide legal advice, and this is in June of 2016, on the potential impact of Russian involvement on the legal validity of the outcome of the 2016 U.S. presidential election. In June of 2016, based on that advice, parties such as the Democratic National Committee and Hillary for America also could consider steps they would be legally entitled to take to challenge the validity of the outcome of the election. Again, 2016, June 2016. It is so important. I'm shocked that this article hasn't done better numbers. It's done well, but I'm shocked it hasn't done better numbers. This is something else. So I'll put this in the description box too. But anyway, these things are all connected and we're starting to get more and more information. The only reason why we're getting this information where they're not redacting, so when they just released the other day, the Joseph Pienka supposed presidential daily brief, which was actually part of the Crossfire Razor investigation. That's where it was filed. Crossfire Razor was the investigation into General Michael Flynn, completely unfounded. They left certain names unredacted. Until just recently, Joseph Pienka was never named. He's named now. And then we had Adam Housley, who's a former reporter for Fox News, saying that Peter Strzok is cooperating with investigators. Robin Gritz chimed in underneath. There's at least 8 to 10 more. That's not new. We're going to get some action very soon, in my opinion. There's a reason why they're letting these names out now. We'll just have to wait and see. The only other thing that I wanted to go over with you guys, let me shut this, is, there was a thread that I shared yesterday that was stellar. Here. Oh, and also, real quick, my bad. This article I posted today, it's by Brian Cates. He is saying in the article that he doesn't think that Igor Danchenko was actually the primary subsource. He thinks that it pulls in Stefan Halper, who was the one who set Flynn up and Svetlana Lakova up and all that. He goes through a timeline in this article about what happened when that lends credibility to the Halper theory. So this will be linked as well. I have a lot of things to link. Just read that. It was on my Twitter this morning. I published it this morning. Here we go. Look how pretty. Isn't that great? These polling numbers are awesome too. I'm kind of scattered all over the place right now. These polling numbers are ridiculous. Rasmussen's numbers. Total black approval on 7/24 at 49%. Black total likely voter approval at 49%. White likely voter approval at 48%. Really? That's pretty sick. So, here, this is it. It was Monsieur America on Twitter. I only wish that I would have seen this thread in 2019. This thread shows how Carter Page is the one who outed Wolf as the leaker of the FISA warrant. So the FISA warrant was leaked to several reporters, and James Wolf ended up being the culprit that did that leak. He was the kind of courier, the main staff member, the security guy for the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, or the Senate. Yeah, I believe that's what it was. And Feinstein was on that committee, and Warner and all that. Warner is goodness me, oh my. So it was actually Carter Page. This guy proves in this thread, it's incredible work. I mean, incredible work. He shows in this thread how Carter Page, by blind copying certain people in emails that he sent to journalists, was able to out who it was that leaked the FISA warrant. It is incredible. I'm not going to go through the whole thing with you on the thread because it's pretty complicated. It'll take a while. And I really just wanted to pop on here and tell you about the radio show, which I'm super excited about, and talk to you for a few minutes. But I will put this in the description box. As soon as this video's done, I'm going to upload the description box, update it with all the stuff. I've been going for 27 minutes, so about 30 minutes. So I'll update that stuff for you guys. But I'm telling you, I mean, it's genius. The genius thread. I want to go back now and look through all of this person's research, because I was like, I kick myself because I really wish I could have done this. Like, I wish I was the one who figured this out. It is that brilliant. So I'm going to put that below. Look, there's a whole bunch of amazing folks out there doing absolutely amazing work. Most of them, I will never know who they are. This is a spy versus spy icon. I don't know who this person is, but I do know that the research that I just shared is quite incredible, and I'm following them now, which is rare. Real quick, let me just explain why. A lot of people, I don't know, a lot of people on here don't use Twitter. The description box, Modini, will be below this video. When the video's done, you can like click it down arrow on the right side underneath the video, and there's a description box where everything is listed. But a lot of people don't like Twitter, and that's okay. But if you are on Twitter, I get a comment all the time from people, why don't you follow back? Because people think that this looks stuck up and snobby, right? I'm blessed beyond measure to have 221,000 followers, and I only follow 900 people. And people get mad, like, oh, look at that little stuck up snob who's not following anyone back. She's too good for that. But that is not the case at all. Absolutely not the case. I just want to explain. Oh, shoot. Robert Patrick Lewis is an amazing former Green Beret. I can't even say former Green Beret, who wrote a fantastic book called The Pact. And I had him on the channel and I interviewed him quickly. I'll tell you the story. I interviewed him about a year ago. I don't know. Robert's here. Thank you for your service. You're a good friend, a dear friend, and I love you. The book is fantastic. I read them. I think there's 3 now. I read them all, and I was like hooked. I listened to them on audiobook. Anyway, long story short, Robert says that he thinks that account is actually Carter Page. Now, I have no idea about that. I don't know if that's true. But he says that. So we'll see. Anyway, back to my why don't I follow back thing. So a few different reasons. Number one, I need this timeline to be clean and only what I'm looking for, because otherwise I can't work. It is really important to me that I have things that I want in my Twitter feed, because otherwise I would have repetitive things over. I use it to work. It is my job. So I use it to work. So I keep only things on there that I actually really need. Now, there are, from way back when, I try to clean it up as often as I can, but from way back when, there's a whole bunch of accounts that I'm following that, aren't active anymore, aren't in my interest anymore, that I try to go through and make room for other people and stuff like that. Otherwise, there's a couple other reasons. Number one, when a crafty reporter from one of these legacy media crap holes comes and tries to do some sort of a hit on me, the first thing that they do is look and see who I'm following. And they poke through that followers list and they find people that they can latch onto and either use to discredit me or use me to discredit them or attack them or harm them. So I'm very particular. It's true. I'm not making it up. Trust me, it happens. Trust me, it happens. So for that reason, I know what Spy vs. Spy is. Capretta says that logo is from a very old 60s, 70s comic book. I know what Spy vs. Spy is. So for that reason, I'm very particular about my following list. And it's not an insult to anybody. It's not an insult to anyone. I'm just particular about it. And it's not meant to be conceited. Really. It's not. There's all these follow trains I see, like, oh, follow back, blah, blah, blah. But how do you get anything done? Like, if I was following 200,000 people, which I would have to do to make it fair at this point, how would I get anything accomplished on my Twitter feed? There's no way. I don't know. Anyway, that's that. So that's it for today. Again, 5 days a week now, you get at least an hour. So Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 2:30 Eastern Time on TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or on uncoverdc.com under the podcast tab. You can find Dark to Light, which is my pride and joy. I love it so much. Now, on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern, if you're in New Hampshire or Maine, you can hear me on WSMN 1590 and 95.3 FM. So it's WSMN 1590 AM, WSMN 95.3 PM, FM. Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1 to 2, and you can listen live to that on the website right here. So if you don't live in the Northeast, you can listen to that hour live there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I love and appreciate you very much. You can support me on Patreon at patreon.com/TracyBeans with a Z. If you wish to, you can support Uncover DC by buying awesome merch in the merch shop, or you can give a contribution to Uncover DC using the support button on the website. It is always very appreciated. It's paypal.me/UncoverDC. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Steve. And I will talk to you guys very soon.